And you're muted. I'm gonna have to get my cup up here that says, "Hey, you're muted." There we go.
Oh, and you're not muted. I heard
Yeah,
that.
yeah. I just turned it off there.
Hey, this topic is important to everybody, of course. Everybody wants to know what kind of money can be made in a particular business. And folks, here's the disclaimer, just right up front. We want to tell you that we do not make up numbers. We give you numbers that are actually given to us by our current business owners. So we're not making any claims that you can make exactly the same kind of money that some of the people that will share with you their stories today are making, but it's possible that you can make more. And right. You could also make nothing at all, zero. Like if you got our entire package in the mail and put it on the shelf somewhere, you probably wouldn't make any money. So anyway, that's the disclaimer. Having said that, let's talk about what wealth really is.
Yeah, it was great to be able to find this little placeholder here. What is wealth? And it's more than just the money. It says basically, if it says there, we can when we can recognize our non-money wealth, the more the money wealth will follow. And that's what I think one of the things you've always said, find something that you love to do and then do it well. And then obviously you've had that motto of what you can do to give back to people and helping them is really where your wealth has been found, Patrick.
Yeah, I heard a motivational speaker, a sales trainer. His name was Zig Ziglar. He's passed away now, but I used to listen to him when I was younger, as I was driving to and from, work. And one of the things he always said that really stuck with me, Eric, was you can get everything you want out of life if you just help enough other people get what they want.
Right.
Simple. And really that's what our business owners, our what we call licensees, people who purchase our license to have this business, they all do that very thing. They are helping doctors to increase their revenue and stay in private practice. That's what they want. And that gets our business owners what they want, which is wealth.
Absolutely. You bet. Yeah. And again, I think one of the things that you and I were even talking about earlier today is that, wealth is obviously everybody wants money and we're not shying away from that. But, what really is it? I put this up here in this next slide here of talking about, the word wealthy is like the word happy. It means something different to everyone. And this little description here kind of fits that mold there. Somebody at the same office may say, hey, making $50,000 is all I need. Somebody else is saying making $25,000 is all I need. And someone else says, $75,000 plus bonuses is what I need. So, it's just really, I think some of the happiest people are not always the people that are making the most money, but it's really what they do with their life and their lifestyle. And I think that's what you're really wanting to describe here, what ABS can really do. It's really what lifestyle are you trying to achieve, trying to get into a business?
Well, we all have heard stories and have seen movies and things on TV about wealthy people who turn out to be the most unhappy people on the face of the earth. So it's not all about the numbers in your bank account that give you happiness. In fact, I believe, honestly, there are probably more people that are happier that are just living very, very meager lives as far as their physical things are concerned, but they're doing what they do to help other people, and that makes them happy. So Absolutely. That's all that really counts.
Absolutely. That's really all that counts. Now, Patrick, you've got a story. Whenever I was helping build this whole webinar deck today and thinking about, can you build wealth offering medical billing services? Well, obviously you and Linda have. And I thought, well, we're going to hear from some other business owners, some of our licensees a little bit later, but tell us your story, really.
Everybody has heard of the story of people going from rags to riches and so forth. And it really is true. In my case, I grew up in a very poor area of the Fort Worth, Dallas area here. And my mom was a single mom working a couple of jobs to try to put food on the table for me and my two brothers. And the bottom line is that I learned a work ethic very early. My first job was at 14. I was stocking a little grocery store. And then as I grew a little older, I learned how to sell cookware. Yeah, there's a company in Dallas called Salad Master. I think they're still in business. And I sold this real beautiful, heavy duty stainless steel cookware. And I did that for several years. And I started making more money than I had ever made in my life, just doing, other types of jobs. That led to a job working at Apple Computer. That's a picture of me there in the center when I got that job at Apple. And then they closed down the plant here in Dallas and moved back to California. And so at that point, my wife was doing billing for a friend of ours who started a durable medical equipment company. He rented hospital beds and wheelchairs and that kind of thing. And she was doing the billing. Well, it was all on a typewriter on, a piece of paper that she would type up and fill in this form and then stick it in an envelope and mail it off to the insurance companies. But that's how she got started. And she started making more money, Eric, than I had ever made in any of my jobs. So really, Linda is the founder of the company. So at this point, like you said, we've been doing this for 28 years now. We've been very successful at it. Our friends and relatives started wondering how we were making the kind of money we were making, and we never left the house,
Yeah.
never got out of our pajamas. And so they were asking how we did it. Well, that's how I started researching what does it really take to go out and market to doctors? Because let's face it, that's the hardest part of any business.
Yes, it really is. That is always the hardest part. It's the hardest part of any business, whether it's medical billing or any other business opportunity that you're going to pay, whether it's a franchise, business opportunity, or you're just going to start your own business. Your biggest thing is you got to have a niche, of some sort of a niche, and then you've got to be able to tell people your story. And the good thing about it is that ABS can help launch that story, because again, you're jumping into a company that's been around for 28 years, and you've got people who have learned how to do medical billing over the years, and like Patrick said, really learn how to market to doctors. Before we move on to the next slide here, though, Patrick, I want you to share one little thing here about your book, because you said one of the biggest things that kept you from wealth is that you kind of hit a glass ceiling, that you thought you could only make so much.
Well, my dad had kind of pounded that into our minds, me and my two brothers, over the years, is that you'll never become more than what you were born into. In other words, you were born into a certain economic level. That's where you'll stay the rest of your life. And that held me back, because in my head, I really did, I guess, think that for many years, that it doesn't matter how hard I try, I'm never going to make more than he did. And he never made probably more than $25,000 in today's dollars in the works that he was in. So that held me back. Well, I ran across a book by, I don't know if you can see the bottom of that cover, but it says Forward by Shad Helmstetter. If you look him up, you'll find out he is a neuroscientist that did some research on the brain and wrote a book many, many years ago, What to Say When You Talk to Yourself. And it was all about self-talk. And so I took his ideas, I met with him, went up to Arizona is where he lived, and I met with him in his home. I talked with him about the fact that I'd like to write a book, because his book changed my life. I mean, literally, I started thinking the correct way about money, and that changed the way I looked at it. And so he wrote the foreword to my book here and gave me the blessing of his book was kind of brainy, so I brought it down to the level of where somebody can really understand what that process is all about, changing the way you think about yourself.
Sure. Yeah. Well, one of the things that maybe you don't mind offering today is if those that are listening today, if they like to get a copy of your book, maybe they can get a PDF of it. What do you think?
Yes. In fact, Eric, I think what I'll do is have them just get back with the person who invited them to this webinar. You got an email from somebody at ABS, absystems.com. Just search that in your email and find that email and reply to that and say, look, Patrick said you would send me a copy of his How to Reprogram book.
There you go.
Yeah.
Very good. Thank you, Patrick.
Sure.
All right. So talking about wealth, there is a perceived wealth, and you've got someone that's on your board by the name of Dr. Vicki Ragnar. You've done several interviews with her on these webinars. And she wrote a book called The Myth of the Rich Doctor. I thought, wow, this is a great segue into going into talking about wealth. I think we all perceive that doctors are very wealthy.
Well, yes, they're told that they're going to make a lot of money when they go to college. And why would they spend $100,000 in, 4 to 8 years becoming a specialist if they didn't think that they could make a really nice living? The problem is we've been through some really tough times here for the last 2.5 years, and a lot of doctors have actually gone out of business. I mean, they shut down their practice because they didn't know how to run it correctly. They're not the smartest business people in the world, Eric. You found that out just talking with them yourself. So Dr. Vicki Ratner was a general surgeon for many, many years, saw thousands of patients, and decided when she retired that she wanted to do something to help doctors. One of the things she's done is written this book, The Myth of the Rich Doctor. And look at the subtitle, Doctor, what is the state of your financial health? Well, most doctors are not in real good shape right now. So look at this quote. She says, physicians in private practice all walk away from an average of 30% of their incomes when they do not follow up on rejected insurance claims. In other words, when they sent the claims in to the insurance company, they rejected it for some reason. Maybe it was a human error or something was wrong with it. Then she says, outsourcing your medical billing could bring claim rejection rates to as low as 2 to 5%. Eric, I think we're even better than that at this point. We're like less than 2% rejection. So
that's correct.
I'm saying this may be the fastest and easiest way to increase your cash flow, and that's what doctors are needing right now.
Exactly. And the other thing I did a little research, and folks, you guys can go do this as well. You can go look up, you can go see what the average doctor makes. Now, there's doctors out there that make more than this because they are specialists. Now, what I did, I looked at the doctors that are PCPs, primary care physicians, all across the United States. And so their average income is anywhere from about 175 to 225,000. Could give or take a little bit on either side, but that's kind of the range that doctor makes. Now, you've got to think about it. What did it take for them to get there? The cost of what it got for them to get there. What would it do if you were a medical billing company? Well, we're going to show you that billing for anywhere from 3 to 5 doctors, that you're going to be making it just about the same amount. And the investment is under $30,000. The other part of what like Patrick is going to said that you have to do is also invest the time that it's going to take for you to build that wealth. And that part of is what we're going to talk about today. But Patrick, I thought this was very interesting that, gosh, somebody could be at home, working from home, less stress, not having to worry about a bunch of staff people, and then medical malpractice issues and all the things that are going out there in the harmful, world of medicine, but still make about a physician's income.
Exactly. Well, we're going to go into detail on that, but we've got some great quotes from some of our business owners, some of our licensees that we're going to show you here in just a moment. Real people who've done their due diligence, just like you're doing on us as a company. They've researched it. They went through the training. They got certified by MRMA, the Medical Revenue Management Association. And then they went to build their business to the point where some of them are actually bringing in 6-figure. And Eric, one couple that we know is at a 7-figure revenue. So it does have a huge potential.
It has a great way of making good wealth. So, we thought we'd ask the question, what is the demand and growth potential for the medical billing industry? Patrick, I remember when you and I first met way over 15 years ago, you said, hey, you can come join us if you want to. I don't know how long this is going to last, but goodness gracious, it's still around, my friend. It's still going strong. And, that's not just you saying that. That's really some research that's out there that's saying that as well.
Yeah, look at this. This is a report on the U.S. revenue cycle management market. Now, folks, that's what we certify you as a medical revenue manager. In other words, you're managing the entire revenue cycle for the doctor, from what the insurance companies pay the doctor, the government agencies, even the patients. We're going to help them increase their revenue all around, and it's called the revenue cycle. Well, look at this. This is the market forecast to grow a compound annual growth rate, that's CAGR, of 11.2%. So it's 2022, but this is the latest research that's been done. In 2021, there was a USD growth rate of $136.7 billion in this industry, Eric. And look, projected by the year 2028, which is really just 6 years from now, right?
Yeah.
That's going to go up to $286.7 billion. So if you're looking for an industry to get involved in, folks, this is probably a good choice.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no doubt about it. It's better than like with some industries that we've known in that we've looked at in the past, Patrick, that are business opportunities. I guess you could be scraping bubble gum off from underneath restaurant tables.
That's a real franchise. Yeah,
it was a real franchise. Don't know if it still is today, but it was at one point. And so this is and again, you've said this again in the past. This is one of those clean businesses. You're working at a little bit higher level. And for those that are on the webinar today and that'll listen to us a little bit later, think of this as that C-suite kind of business opportunity, because you're dealing with doctors, and sometimes you may be dealing with multiple doctors and multiple decision makers at some time. And it can be very rewarding, as we've seen with a lot of our business owners here at American Business Systems. So what we want to also talk about is now really, what is your potential return on investment? And Patrick, again, remind us what the investment here at American Business Systems is.
Yeah, it's just under 29,000. We're like Walmart, everything there is 0.97 cents. Ours is 28,990. In other words, let's round that up. Let's say it's $29,000. Now, folks, that may sound like a lot of money. You may not have, if you've never looked at our website carefully, you may not realize that there's an investment. But any franchise that you look at out there are going to be that. Eric, I think a Subway sandwich shop, which is a pretty low down on the list, is $80,000 now, franchise fee. So there's going to be an investment, yes, but our reps here at ABS work with people from all categories of life, and we can help you find those funds if you don't have those just right in your pocket today. So don't worry about that part. Just do your research. Continue watching these webinars until you can put that together.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things we're going to talk to you about, obviously, right now is, remember, your return on the investment. So your investment that you're going to make here, what kind of money can you make? And remember, we talked earlier that with 3 to 5 doctors, you could be making a physician's salary. And again, being able to work from home, having that lifestyle that you want, and building that wealth that Patrick and I were talking to you about earlier. And, that wealth could just be peace of mind. And, and that's what a lot of people have to come to grips with. It doesn't always have to mean that you make a kabillion dollars out there, although that we would all love to, but what would you do? I mean, there's a lot of people out there that make a lot of money and they're not happy folks. So, but let's talk about you. What would you do if you were billing for one doctor? And I love how we just got this broken down, Patrick, just to the best simplicity that we can have. There's no smoke, there's no mirrors, there's nothing. Well, if we can just do this is a straight financials right here of what we're talking about. So, we know that one doctor typically sees about 25 patients a day. Now, again, Patrick, as we get older, we go to the doctor more, and it seems like there's more than 25 patients in the waiting room that we go see our doctors. So, folks, you understand that we're not blowing up the numbers here, but you think about it, that's 10 to 12 patients in the morning, 10 to 12 patients in the afternoon. Most doctors really average over 30 patients that they see in a day. But if each patient is valued at $150 per patient, well, that's about the average you're going to walk out of having to pay that doctor, whether it's through your copay and what the insurance pays back to the doctor, or you're paying cash. You can see how the numbers just work. So 25 times 150 is $3,750. And then let's just kind of break this down. You got $3,750 a day that you're billing for the doctor. Remember, you're going to make a percentage of that. And Patrick, I know that people always ask, what percentage do I bill a doctor? Well, it could be anywhere from 6% is up to 8%, could be as high as 9. So we've just chosen 7. 7's kind of the average there.
Yeah, yeah,
And
that's
then,
average.
yeah, and then you just go, hey, what my average earnings? What am I going to make per day with one doctor? Well, it's $262.50 per day. The great thing about this, Patrick, is it shouldn't take you any more than about 2 hours to make $262.
There's licensees I've talked to that will argue that, you know, if they're repeat patients, all the data is already in your system. So all you're doing
Yep.
is pulling it up, putting in a couple of codes and today's date, click, boom, that's it. That one's done. So really, it doesn't take that long to do, you know, that many claims, 25 a day.
Absolutely.
No.
Then if you take all of that combined, again, let's kind of just keep with the math here, and you're working 5 days a week, and then you times that out times 52, you can see one doctor could easily generate, with just those numbers that we talked about, $68,000. Now, Patrick, you and I stated earlier, and I'm going to go back to that slide. I think we've got the way in which we can do that. This is what we showed you. 165K billing for 3 doctors. Well, if you take $68,000, you know, times 3, that's going to get you there pretty quickly. I mean, if you look at it, I think we've got a slide here that we can kind of show you, you know, what that looks like. That's more than what we were talking about. So it's $204,000 for 3 doctors. And if it's taking you right at 2 hours a day per doctor, that's 6 hours. And that's a full-time thing, working from home. Folks, you would be making that a doctor's salary working from home with an investment less than $30,000.
Yeah. So when you see these quotes from some of our current business owners a little bit later, and I even have a little movie clip of one of them talking, these numbers will make more sense to you because they don't think anything of making that kind of money with, you know, 1 doctor or 3 doctors.
Absolutely. So one of the things that I think you wanted to show, Patrick, and I'm going to see if I can go ahead and preload this on my computer so that people can absolutely be able to see that. So I think I can new share and show this. This is our website here. Let's see if I can show that. So let's go to here and share that. Okay, so I think am I showing the live calculator?
No, I think that's the slide.
That might be the slide. Let me see. Oh, that's the keynote. There we go. There we go.
That's it.
Okay, so what I'm going to do, folks, I'm going to scroll all the way down to the very bottom. So you can see, you can go through all of this information. So get down to the bottom. When you get down to here, I think we're almost there.
Yeah, it's like in the footnote, basically.
Right here where it says income calculator. So I'm going to click on income calculator here for us so that folks, look, let's look at this. Let's sort of play this around a little bit. So there's 2 calculators. There's one that sets your desired income, and it'll show you how many doctors that you need. But I like this one, Patrick, because again, this kind of shows a little bit better. So if we put in that 7%, and again, we're going to put in that $150 per patient, and that doctor was seeing, what do we say, 25 patients a day?
Yeah.
So there it goes, $68,250. So that's where we are. So again, if that doctor is seeing, you're doing billing for that same doctor and they're seeing an average of 30 patients a day, then you're at almost $82,000 in change.
Boy, our calculator is very accurate, isn't it?
It's very accurate. There.
1 millionth of a cent. Hey, Eric, let's say that for some reason people are thinking, you know, we told them earlier that you could be doing this billing rate as little, well, actually, I've seen as little as 5% nationwide. So let's try that, 5%. And on the average claim amount, let's say we've overblown that, and maybe it's just $125.
Sure. 125.
And then the average number of patients, let's put 20 instead of 30.
Okay, 20.
And look at there, you're still at, well, that's about what our investment is, isn't it, Eric?
It is. That's an investment. And boy, that's probably way less than an hour's type of work. So, just trying to get down to the bare minimum, folks. You can see that just with one doctor, and if you times that times 3 or even 5, you're still back at that doctor's salary. So, but typically, I think, I kind of playing around with this again, and if we were at these numbers back here at, the only thing really we turned there was the go to 6%, average amount of claims, 30 patients a day. That's about a $70,000, income with one doctor.
Yeah. So folks, we're going to encourage you, Eric, while you're going back to the slides, let me just say this, folks, you can go back on our website, go down to the very bottom, like you saw Eric do there, and just go ahead and click on income calculator, and you put in your own numbers so that you feel comfortable that's just play around with that and see what you can come up with there. But every licensee that I've interviewed, Eric, and we've got dozens and dozens of interviews with them, they all say that those numbers are very realistic, what we just showed.
Yeah, I mean, I think in the last 2 weeks, you've interviewed some folks, and I'm sure that they've shared those same that same information. So, but the numbers look good, Patrick. We're already at the bottom of the hour. We got less than 30 minutes left, and so the question always comes up. Even though I won't have a question in the question box area, folks, you can ask questions if you'd like. But the big question is, again, why would a doctor want to use me? Let me see if I can get to that slide. There we go. Why would a doctor want to use me and even outsource to me? And you've done a great job of putting this side by side spreadsheet here. So why don't you run through this, Patrick? I mean, you do a great job of kind of talking about in-house versus outsourcing.
Yeah, look, folks, all we did was take some of the expenses in a typical doctor's office, and we put them in that first column, in-house. If he's doing the billing in-house, he not only has the cost for, we put 1.5 billing employees at $22 an hour. Again, he would be paying $68,000 just for the people that are doing the billing for him. Then he's got payroll taxes, workers' comp insurance, errors and omissions insurance, training costs, temp costs, for when those people go on vacation, employee benefits and hardware and software and IT support. All that together could cost a doctor nearly $100,000 a year just to do it in-house. So why would a doctor outsource it to you? Well, because at the figures we've got up there at the top, 100 claims a week at 150 times 52 weeks times 7%, they're only going to pay you about $54,000. So as you can see, there's a savings there for the doctor of, anyway, it's like $41,000.
Yeah, 41. You almost say almost half of what it's going to be costing. So that's one thing, folks. And what we're showing you here is based off of what's called a practice analysis. And Patrick and I'm going to show that to you here in a little bit as well. But another reason why a doctor would outsource to you is because of the high cost of denied claims. Patrick, you want to talk to them what a denied claim is?
Yeah, this is a claim that's sent into the insurance company or the government agency, and they reject it. They deny it and send it back and say, sorry, we're not going to pay this for this reason, or maybe several reasons. And here's a quote from the Healthcare Business Management Association. You can go out to their website and you'll see this. It's not unusual to have a 35% or higher claim rejection rate, which requires extensive and expensive follow-up. Now, folks, our system, because it has the clearinghouse built in, we'll show you there in a second, and because it's been around in the cloud for many, many years, our rejection rate is less than 2%, like Dr. Vicki Ratner said earlier, less than 2%. Folks, that is money on the table that the doctor would not see otherwise. That's why they'll outsource to you. It's for more money.
Absolutely. Now, here's another quote from the U.S. Government Accountability Office. And Patrick kind of goes right along with, again, the high, I call it the high, we've got up here high rate. It's really the high cost of denied claims.
That's right. And they say it's, it went from 6% to over 30% over the past few years. So folks, it's not getting any better. Doctors need help more today than they did yesterday. Eric, I think that's why I'm doing so many interviews here recently. We've had so many licensees go out and sign up doctors after we kind of sludged our way through the pandemic, that
Sure.
now it's just booming. Doctors are desperate for help.
Yes. Yep. And you're going to find those out there. Looks like we've got a question that come in. Aren't there training costs for staff at a provider's office after you have signed them up? Some staff have to know how to use iClaim and EMRX. Yes, there's no training cost that is to the doctor's office. You're going to train them. Our staff's going to train them. We're going to help assimilate that office into iClaim and EMRX. So there's no additional training cost for that particular doctor.
Well, it's just maybe he's thinking of Roland. Maybe you're thinking of the time that it takes for them to get speed. But folks, we've got video training modules, little 3 to 5 minute videos that will teach them everything they need to know.
Yes.
And of course, once you've learned the system, know how to train them as well. And using Zoom and other things like this, you can share your screen and go through it step by step live. Yeah.
Sandy's asking, is the computer program difficult to learn? No, as a matter of fact, again, Patrick's kind of just shared that with you. It doesn't take long because you will be trained one-on-one, and we'll talk a little bit about that one-on-one training here in just a little bit. But remember, ABS, I'm going to, kind of toot their horn here a little bit. ABS has been very successful at not only helping people get into the business, but in the training that goes along with it is really where the rubber meets the road. And that's where ABS has been successful, because without good support and good training, we would never see the success that ABS has. And Patrick has gone, what I would say, overboard on training and support, what I've seen with some of the licensees that have come through. So you'll be well taken care of.
Yeah, folks, we have lifetime support. That means once you've paid that initial licensing fee we mentioned earlier, $28,990, that's it. You won't be paying us anything else for ongoing training or support of any kind. And that's what makes us different from other companies out there. If you talk to some companies, they'll tell you the training and the support is free for the first year or maybe even 2 years. But then after that, it's another $1,500 a year. So it can add up a lot.
And Sandy's asking another question: do we purchase the computer and the program from ABS or on our own? No, everything's included, and you're really not purchasing the software because it's an online in the cloud. What you're doing is getting access to everything to there. And then what might help you, Sandy, is if you'll get back with the person and invite you to the webinar and have them take you through a demonstration, and they'll show you and be able to help answer some of those questions that you have here. Patrick, before we move on to some more questions, I wanted to kind of stick with this high cost of denied claims and how we have discovered some of those. And that's done, like I mentioned earlier, through what's called a practice analysis questionnaire. Why don't you share a little bit about that, and then we get to show what I call, some of the great stuff in the next report.
Yeah, this started out as like a one-page questionnaire. And then over the years, of course, as we added other services that you can offer to the doctor, all optional, but I mean, they're there for you to offer to the doctor, included in your license fee. We came up with more questions. So now it's, 3, maybe 4 pages now, even, Eric.
Right.
But there's a sample of it right there, folks. What that does is gather the data that you need to go back to your office and use another piece of software that we have and plug those numbers in and come up with what we call a practice revenue report. There's a picture of it there. This is just I think it's just a fake one, but it's based on some real numbers. And yeah, there we go. You can see them there. And basically it boils down to this. You are probably looking just like the doctor does at that bottom line. It says increased revenue per year of $122,000. Now, Eric, even if we've blown these numbers up and we're not using the correct number or whatever, even if it was half of that, I think most doctors would be interested in a $60,000 a year. That's a down payment on a nice car.
Yes. Yeah.
Like a Tesla or something.
Yeah. And these are like Patrick said, these are numbers that are basically strictly out from one of our licensees, and we put these numbers up here. They're going to vary, but most doctors would be happy to see their an increase at all, whether it's $1,000, $2,500. I mean, this one's showing $10,000 revenue increase on a monthly basis. So, you know, folks, it's just really what the doctor's looking for, but they do know that whatever's going on with them currently, they are not getting all the money that they know that they could. That's for sure.
That's right.
Yeah.
There's lost revenue there that we help recover for them. And well, that one report, folks, does all the selling for you. If there's any selling, that does the selling for you right there.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got a couple of questions here. So this is from, I don't know the attendee's name, but what is my ROI investment, initial investment and follow-up fees? I'm not sure when you joined us, we kind of went over the ROI earlier. So if you didn't you got in a little bit late, you might want to go back and watch this webinar whenever we got it recorded and up on the internet. You can go look at that, but we're going to kind of talk a little bit more about that right now. And then Stephen's asking, what is the average revenue per claim and what percentage of your revenue? What is the percentage of your revenue? Again, Stephen, we went through that a little bit earlier. So again, you might want to go back and go check that out. And then Stephen's asking, do I need to buy my own accounting software to create my P&L and balance sheet? You know, whenever it comes down to accounting, you may want to consider an accounting program to do P&Ls and some balance sheets and stuff like that. But a lot of that is generated from the iClaim software in a report that you can push out and export into a CSV file or some type of other file that's needed for an accounting program out there for you.
Yeah, we use ourselves, Stephen, QuickBooks,
yep.
And it's all cloud-based, of course, and so it's a very, very solid, been around for years, and I don't know of anything else out there that I would recommend. Very inexpensive compared to some of the accounting software that's out there.
Yes. Patrick, just as an FYI, we got about 15 more minutes. So let's talk about how much it costs to start and operate an ABS package business. And so you've already said it's $28,990. We've kind of talked about that. And but really, they're getting a lot. I'm just going to let you talk, and I'm going to flip through some of these slides here and just kind of let you share what you've been able to build out for someone that's an investor looking to get involved in this business.
Yeah, so that one fee that we've talked about, the $28,990, that includes, of course, the iClaim practice management system, which of course is what you use to actually do the billing. It includes the electronic medical records, which is what the doctor and their staff use when they're seeing the patient. And then, of course, the clearinghouse is built into our system, as I said earlier, which means you don't have to do anything, but you don't have to send it to a third-party clearinghouse to clear it. We do all the clearing. That's why our rejection rate is so low. And we even have a patient portal that is like state-of-the-art.
Yeah, absolutely. Matter of fact, here it is, and this is kind of like the mapping of it. If you want to take a look at this, but this is everything you're getting when you join the ABS team. But then also, Patrick, you're getting, we'll show this here in just a moment, but you're getting all of your marketing pieces, you're getting your training support, your marketing support. Gosh, you're getting so much, and we call it the ABS advantage. You know, it's because it's everything that you need. Someone can take everything, go through training, and really not spend another dime on anything else that they need whenever it comes down to getting a doctor up and going.
Except for the accounting software, folks. Our software is not for running your business; it's for running the doctor's business.
That's correct.
You have to get your own, and then of course you get access to all of our technology partners, folks. This is not something you could go out and do on your own.
Right.
It's important that you realize we've put a lot of time and money in making this connection with all these technology partners to be able to offer the ancillary products that you see illustrated in this little stack of boxes here. All these services we came up with over the years because doctors need help in all these areas. And we go into this in detail on our website. And we even have all the marketing pieces already developed for every one of those. Again, they're optional. You can offer them if you want to or not. but they're included in your licensing fee. There's no extra cost for that.
Yeah, and just to highlight a couple of these, and again, just real briefly, folks, again, because of our time, you've got a line of service called Quick Collect, which is a desperately needed thing there for the doctors. Auto card, Patrick, this is you kind of came up with this idea of saying, hey, we need a way for the doctors to help market to their clients, but then we found out that we could use it for our ABS to market to doctors.
Yes, it's automated marketing, and it's all full color printed cards that go out in the mail, but it's all online in the cloud. You don't have to do any of the printing or mailing yourself. It's a fantastic product for us and our licensees.
In these two that I'm going to show you, and then we're going to get into some more of the details here a little bit, but the Audit Guard and then CodeWrite. Folks, I think a lot of people still on the webinar today may go, well, gosh, how do I do all this? Am I going to need to learn how to do all this medical coding and everything? Folks, you can see here on this slide, this is done by certified medical coders. Again, it's one of our technology partners. The same thing here with CodeWrite. If a doctor needs help coding their charts, we have a certified professional coders that will do everything for you for the doctor. Obviously, there's a fee for that, but that fee is basically you just passing that on over to the doctors, because the doctors don't expect you to do coding for free.
Right.
So these things are in place, and they've been around for that. And Sheree, who pays for these coders? That's what I was just saying. That the doctors pay for that. They pay for these services. So anything that we're showing you here are services that are paid for by the doctors. And we've been doing this for, gosh, almost 20 plus years, Patrick.
Yeah, and we of course encourage you to mark those up so that you make money. You're getting these services really through our coders at a wholesale cost because of our partnership with the various companies, and you can mark that up and actually make money on each one of those services as well.
But Patrick, tell us about MRMA. We had a little slide at the very beginning that you were the co-founder of MRMA. Tell us what all that is about.
Well, this is the organization that actually gives you the training, gives you all the modules that you go through with our trainers, and then at the end gives you a certification. You actually get a certificate that says you're a medical revenue manager. And so that allows you to use the initials CMRMs, Certified Medical Revenue Manager, after your name on anything, website, business cards, etc. And folks, if you look at this website, it's MRMA.org, by the way, ORG. If you go to the website and look under the board of directors, you'll see a whole list of some of the CEOs and principals of some of our partners that are on this board, including, oh, there he is right there, Eric Auger.
I'm right there.
Yeah.
All righty. And then, Patrick, I think one of the best marketing techniques that you and the team has put together has been the partnership with industry leaders, and that is with Dr. Vicki Rachner. You co-wrote this book, the New Thriving Medical Practice. But why don't you explain how this book is, what it's all about, and how brand new business owners are here at ABS actually use this to build their business?
Eric, can you go to the next slide? I think I switched these two slides on you.
Sure.
The cover first. As you can see on the cover, you actually put your name there as having written the foreword. Now we have a generic foreword that you can put your name on at the bottom of it. And so your name gets to go on the cover along with mine and Dr. Vicki Rachner. Talk about credibility, folks. As a marketing tool, you can't beat this. You get 20 of these books when you first sign up, and then of course you can order more. And guess what? Even though this is it's like $19.95 out on Amazon, you can actually order these for as little as $4 a copy if you need more of them. And then on the inside cover, you'll see that you can we'll put your name there along with Dr. Vicki Rachner's and mine. And then at the end of the forward, of course, you can put your contact information. So Eric, this becomes one of the best marketing tools and business cards that there is out there.
You bet. Yeah. You talk about being able to walk into a doctor's office and not just drop this off. We even show you some ways where you can mail these in which the doctor will actually get them opened and not just fall into the trash can.
Right. They get past the gatekeeper.
Yeah,
And then there's a
absolutely. That's
book
the
that
biggest
we
thing.
just published. Dr. Vicky wrote a book here with my son, Adam, who's the CEO of the company, called 9 Ways Doctors Let Money Slip Through Their Fingers. This is another book that you can personalize. As you can see, you have little yellow stickers that you can stick right up there on the front cover of the book with your company name, your website, and your phone number. Folks, it does not get any better, again, from a marketing standpoint than this, unless it's this next book, which is the 10 Critical Questions for Physicians in Private Practice, another book by Dr. Vicky Ragner. And you get to put your name and contact information on the back cover of the book, right there under Dr. Vicky's picture and blurb. So again, folks, these are just some of the tools we've developed. Many others that we can't go into today. Ask your ABS rep about all these.
Absolutely. So I'm asking the question, Patrick, have others built wealth offering medical billing services?
And the answer is a resounding yes. Now, to prove that, we're going to give you a quote here from Brian and Laura Dean. Look at this. We got this note from them. They said, as of 2021, the business has 17 full-time employees, owns a 6,000 square foot office space, services 400 to 500 providers, that's doctors, and replaces 3 to 4 times the previous income for both of us, and boasts a 45 to 55% profit margin. Now, folks, if you do the math on that, you get a real high income.
Yes.
All I can say is this is where you want to go to. Now, if you don't want to build it this big, you can keep it as small as you want to. We've got licensees, Eric, that's been with us for years, and all they have is a handful of clients, and they do all the billing themselves.
You bet.
That's what they want. That's the lifestyle they want.
And we talked to you about making, $60,000 from one client. I think we've got that here with is this Jade?
Yes, but I don't know that the sound is going to work on this, Eric. I'm always,
I was a little nervous because I didn't know anything about the medical.
I can barely hear her. Maybe you can put your mic right up to the speaker.
Speaking with my representative at ABS, once I touched base with ABS and I had a person who I was working with, a sales rep, if you will, they started reassuring me that you don't necessarily have to have a background in medical billing. And I was still nervous. I kind of just didn't believe it. I did a few things. One, I did a surprise trip to Texas, which isn't really recommended because anybody wants to have a heads up, but I still did it because I thought this is too good to be true. And I went down there and they really do exist and everything was great. That was even before I went down for training.
And Patrick, I'm going to try to move it up a little bit because I know that we've got about.
Can you get to 537, Eric? This is where she talks about the kind of money that you can make.
You can decide what kind of a business you want to set up, how big you want to get in terms of how many employees and the income that you're making. But otherwise, the sky is the limit to your income, and you don't have to share it with anyone, with the exception, obviously, of your partner or your employees. So with one of my billing accounts, for example, I have one that that we bill for, and we charge 6%. But we charge this particular account 6% across the board with no other fees. And this account, we make about $60,000 a year from this account, just one account.
Hey, Eric,
Yep.
Notice that's at 6%, not 7%, because when it's a big volume, you might give a little discount. You might lower that a little bit. She makes 60,000 from one client, and folks, she has like a dozen or more. So she's doing very well herself.
And then this last one here, this is from Christy Dunn. Christy has been a long time business owner with American Business Systems, and same thing here.
Yeah, Eric, I want to point out her second sentence there. She thinks that I'm a genius.
That's true.
And then the next paragraph talks about she thanks God every day that he set me on the path to meet you and see this amazing system. Anyway, basically the bottom line is, I thank you from the bottom of my heart, she says there at the last, for working with me and teaching me that there's nothing out of reach. You are a genius and a genius team behind you. So anyway, okay, Eric, I think we just proved that, yes, you can build wealth offering medical billing services.
You certainly can. And one of the ways that you can kind of keep this as risk-free is your 30-day money-back unconditional money back guarantee. Tell us about that, Patrick.
Yeah, I know people find this one hard to swallow, Eric, because I mean, what company, there's no franchise or business opportunity like ours that actually offers a money back guarantee. That is, you can go through our training and you can get through that in 30 days easily. You can go through all of our training and you'll see all of our secrets. You can have access to our licensee private website. And if you still don't think that this is the right thing for you, you can get 100% of your money back. So folks, that's been done a few times over the years, but
Yeah.
usually some real personal reason why people choose to do that. But anyway, the point is that we know what we have to offer.
There you go. Let's go through these next 6 steps of some things that people can do today if they haven't already done it. One of the first things, besides watching all these webinars that I've recognized some of the names being on here, is that they can download the research guide. I think they can actually get that from the person that invited them. Is that correct, Patrick?
Yes, this is a 65-page PDF document, folks, that we put together. There's a picture of it right there. That's none of this information is on our website because we want it only to be in the hands of the people who are really sincerely interested. So get back with your ABS representative and tell them, I'm sincerely interested. I want that research guide, and they'll send that to you.
Absolutely. And we talked about the webinars, but we log every one of these webinars. We've been logging them on our YouTube channel for, I don't know how many years, since the age of dinosaurs.
Many years. In fact, there's our YouTube channel right there, folks. You can scroll down when you get there, and you'll see that there are literally, Eric, I think there's over probably nearly 200 different videos that we've got out there. So lots of different topics. Of course, on this webinar, we didn't cover, for example, exactly how do I market to doctors. Well, there's webinars on that topic.
You bet.
So go out there and browse, and you'll see there's one for every one of your questions, probably.
Well, you know, one of the other best things that you do and allow people to do is talk with ABS licensees or references. And, you know, it's one thing that we can share some of the things on the webinar, but gosh, you give them an opportunity to talk to as many as they want to.
Yeah, these are real people who went through the training. They did the due diligence that you've done, hopefully. They've gone through the training. They got certified. They found their first client. They went ahead and built their business to the point where some of them are making some really good money. But they love us so much, Eric, that they decided that they'll take a phone call now and then from some of our prospective licensees to let them know how good the business is.
You bet. And then I mentioned earlier about a demo. Folks, if you haven't seen our system, you need to get back with the person that invited you and have them set up a live demo, Patrick.
Yeah, as you can see, our demo guy is right up there in the upper left-hand corner. We got from a stock photo. And then on the bottom right-hand corner, you and your spouse or partner can be on the demo as well. We'll do this with you one-on-one. But once you become a licensee and want to have the system shown to doctors, we will do the demo. Our demo guys will do the demos and answer all the doctor's questions. Again, you can be on those as well. Folks, there's no extra charge for that. That alone is probably worth thousands of dollars in value because we close about 50% of all the demos that we do, Eric.
Absolutely. Matter of fact, Sandy says, I want the research guide. You bet, Sandy. We'll make sure we get you a copy of that. But also, you might want to go ahead and grab the purchase agreement. Just start reading through that.
Yeah, it's about 4 pages long. There's nothing really technical about it. It tells you what we're going to do, what we say we're going to do, what you get in the package. And of course, it talks about the money back guarantee. So ask for that from your ABS representative as well. And then last but not least, send in your agreement and with your funding, of course, and schedule your training. By the way, you get to schedule this directly with your instructor. He or she will be on there. These are people who've actually, they're running their own medical billing revenue management company, and they've been trained by us to teach you exactly how to do it. So we're duplicating their success, basically, and you can ask all the questions you want because it's just you and them. That's it.
Absolutely. Well, Patrick, we did it. It's straight up the hour. Man,
look at that.
It's like we've done this before.
Yes, a few hundred times.